Hello, everybody. Why every goddamn time? I know I'm a bit late. About 15 minutes. Stop it. About 15 minutes late. I'm okay with that. I just finished watching. If I can get the camera to focus well, maybe a bit more there. I didn't even look at myself before. Can I just give me a moment? Okay, much better, much better. I was so busy with watching Ukraine's president Vladimir. Is it Vladimir? I want to say Vladimir. I just watched his speech. It's a bit Volodymyr. Sorry, not Vladimir. Volodymyr Zelensky, and what a fantastic speech. I'm not going to talk about it now. I want to do some. I want to rewatch it. I want to reread because I did a live tweet of it. It's quite lengthy, to be honest. It is quite a few tweets here. Let me show you. Why is there we go. So it starts here, and it just goes and goes and goes. And oh, someone had and goes. It's quite a thing. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pretend as if anyone's gonna read the thread. But I wanted to do it for me, so that I could have something to reference. You know. No, I wanted a bit more. And just up a little. Just up a little. There we go. I found. So I was harsh on him about this video. Listen to the change a little bit over a year has done to him.
Всім добрий вечір.
Oh, is it desktop's on?
Лідер фракції тут, голова Офісу президента тут, прем'єр-міністр Шмигаль тут, Подоляк тут, президент тут. Всі ми тут.
We are here. He's here. That guy's here. Oh, he's there. See that guy? He's also here. I'm also here.
Наші військові,
Our military? They're here.
громадяни суспільства тут, всі ми тут. Захищаємо нашу незалежність, нашу державу. І так буде й далі. Слава нашим захисникам, слава нашим захисницям. Слава Україні!
That's it. And compared to just the first minute of the speech, it is. I mean, this is a wartime president speaking here. I'm not gonna translate it. Read the text. You can read along if you want. I can even move myself. But it's just a minute. I just listen to the cadence. Oop, that's not it.
Слава Україні! Цими словами слава Україні! Наші герої, наші мужні герої, мужні українці На передовій дивляться в очі ворогом, достойно, впевнено, вперто. Захищають життя для України, віддають своє життя заради України. Завдяки цим словам увесь світ чує і знає, що тут, у Європі, на східному фланзі нашого континенту, постав глобальний центр сміливості, який ніколи не дозволить зруйнувати свободу і нашу власну, і наших союзників та партнерів. І це честь говорити ці слова. Слава Україні!
The cadence, the delivery, the words. A year ago, he was begging for scraps. Almost. There we go. Oh, that shit. A year ago, he was begging for scraps. He was on magazine covers. He was doing everything to keep the eyes on Ukraine. By the way, am I not in? Yeah, I'm in mono now. Okay, good. He was focused on making sure that Ukraine was the focus of everyone's attention. Because they didn't have much to show for it for a long time, like half a year. First, it was just massive invasion. Ukraine was overrun completely. I don't think anyone's denying that. Up until the end, where they just stop. They meet a wall and they walk it back. they retreat. But since these large gains, not much. Like there was a period of time where hardly anything happened. Like some fighting here, some fighting there, but no gains were made really. And that's the period of time where Zelensky became the beggar president. Because he didn't have anything. He didn't have anything to give the world. Except for his presence, really. So he gave them his presence. That he made sure the world knew he was still the president and they were still fighting. But he doesn't have to do that anymore. The victories that Ukraine gets speak for themselves. The losses Ukraine gets also speak for themselves. They are so few compared to Russia's that it's comical. So he doesn't have to go around begging anymore. He can focus on winning instead. He can focus on policy making instead. Am I a bit red? I feel a bit red. We're gonna have some technical issues here. Nope. Oh, now I'm more like maybe if I go here, wrong way, and I go oof. Now we're hot, aren't we? Is this better? I think this is better. I still don't like the hue. I'm a bit too white. Can I go just one? Wrong way. Too much. There we go. That's better. Can we fix the hue? I do not like the hue on my face in the shot. It's too red. It's way too. I'm not that red. I am not the spanky tanky. I'm not the spanky tanky, okay? Just keep that in mind. I'm not the spanky tanky. Apply a lot? Sure. Do we have any lots? Does this do anything? I don't think so. Oh, that does something. Grayscale. Inverted. They remove some of the background colors. But I feel like my face is also a bit less red, but not as little as I was assuming. Okay, we're gonna trash that. And we're gonna properties. Instead, can we just, because if I remove the contrast, if I up the contrast, is that gonna, oh, but it's too much white now. If I put it there, remove, no, that's a hue shifter, not a, I wanted the saturation. Okay, so I can scale this down a bit. And now, if I go there, I think this is much better. I really do. I really, really do. Anyway, I liked the speech. So yesterday, when I was in the middle of the night, I for some reason, I started this tweet thread at 1 in the morning. And I didn't go to bed until I want to say around 4 or 5 perhaps, because I was doing a lot of things. So, but as I was trying to sleep and failing, by the way, it just hit me. Like the whole speech is about what will happen, how will Ukraine look after the war? What is the goal? What is our moral core as a nation? What are we fighting for? And he wanted all Ukrainians to be participatory in this conversation. And then it hit me. I have a neighbor somewhere here who's, because I've seen a car with Ukrainian plates. So I'm assuming I have neighbors around here who are immigrants or who have fled Ukraine. And I know there's kids in the town that I'm in who are from Ukraine. And I thought, maybe I can interview some of them. That was my first thought. And my second thought was, that's going to be so much work. I don't know if I want to bring them here to interview them. I don't know if I want to, which would be simplest for me. I don't know if I want to go to them to interview them either. That can be very intrusive, and I need time to set up and stuff like that and test all the equipment and you know. And I thought, okay, will I do it live perhaps instead of recording? Because at first I thought of recording it, but I'm like, it's a lot of editing. So I'm like, we'll just stream it. Then I'm like, but I'm going to need 2 cameras. So I want 2 cameras, maybe even 3 cameras. So I need someone with a board they can switch between. So all of that came up, and eventually I realized we have a media, our local university has a media department, or where they study advertising, they study movie making, they study scripts, etc., etc. And they also study, I believe, live production. So they have all of the equipment already. They have the knowledge. and I'm assuming they also have the resolve to want to help Ukraine in some fashion, you know? But it's in the middle of the summer. So, but I thought that would be a fun. Let's see if I can find images from the studio, actually, which I've been in once, which they unfortunately lost for some reason. It was aired. It was never recorded, but it wasn't aired on YouTube. It was aired on like a local feed, which nobody watches. So I'm like, just get on YouTube for God's sake. So unfortunately, because it was a debate when I was the student, the head of the student union, and everyone except me, who was present, were professional or not professional, were from political parties, and only from the right. And I wasn't a socialist back then. I was a social democrat, so I wasn't in favor of socialism per se. But I'm like, everything here. We have the conservative party, the moderates. We have the neoconservative party, the liberals. We have the center party, which is like a green conservative party. We had, was that I think that might have been maybe the Christian Democratic Party as well, maybe, which is also like a conservative party. And then we had me. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. Okay, sure. So I had to go. I'm like, the only job I have at this moment is combating whatever they say. Like that's all my debate goal is. I got a lot of praise for the people present there, because the right, they want to create private schools. They wanted to have fees for education, etc., etc., etc. I'm like, fuck you. Education is good. We need to defund humanities. We need to remove philosophy and stuff. I'm like, education isn't just for profit. It's for human growth. And you want to remove the human growth. I got a lot of praise for how I handled that debate. Anyway, I've been there. I know it's possible. I know they have the technology. Let's see if I can find some images, perhaps. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Maybe not so perfect. No. Open image in a new tab. There we go. Open image. Is that enough, perhaps? Might be enough. Oh, damn. Wait. What? Oh, okay. Why? So strange. So strange. Anyway, okay. They have. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me if I'm okay. For some reason, I can't find higher pixelated images. it all links to like some Czechian or something Facebook page or language on Facebook. So I'm not sure what's happening, but here is the studio at least in what is it, 10p depth or something, 120p depth. And again, more studio. Just there is technology, and I think utilizing that technology to bring awareness or allowing our local refugees and maybe some non-locals as well, I don't know, to influence their future Ukraine. I think that's gonna be. I think not only is that gonna be fun, but I also think it's gonna be fun. Not just fun for me or for you, but fun for them as well. They're probably, after everyone yesterday, every single Ukrainian was glued to a screen watching Zelensky speak. Every Ukrainian was. And every Ukrainian at this moment is thinking, how will Ukraine look when the war is over? That is on every one of their mind, or of theirs mind. And I think it would be helpful if more people. I want more people to do this. I want to inspire others to do the same thing. Interview local Ukrainian refugees across the world to talk about their future Ukraine. Because I don't think a future Ukraine should only be discussed amongst Ukrainians. They want into the European Union. They want into NATO. Okay, I want them into NATO. I want them into the European Union. How does that look? What nation would I like Ukraine to be inside the European Union? You know, I don't think my voice should overrule Ukrainians. But just as I speak about American issues, I can speak about Ukrainian issues as well. And I think the plan the foundation, the starting point of this discussion that Zelensky laid out in his speech was fantastic. 99% I agreed with. There was some sprinkling of some neoliberalism, some AI. I don't know how feasible everything is. I don't blame them either, by the way. Like, imagine being part of the USSR. And then you can come out and communists go, oh, or socialists, I should say, rather, for the broader term, go, a future Ukraine should embrace socialism. Well, they go, we tried, okay? We were part of that foundation. It did not work out for us. We're trying to escape it. So they tried. They went a step further. Now they're going, you know what? It's working for you. Why don't we emulate that? Why don't we just copy what you're doing, improve where we see the science is better, like with medical marijuana, as he proposed, which I think is him endorsing marijuana legalization broadly. But he did it. He talked about it as a way to combat PTSD and stuff like that, which it has been proven to work. So he really created the starting point to focus on soldiers. But that focus is going to become broader. And he knows this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put it out there, I don't think. So he wants the conversation to start about PTSD for soldiers. But then some people are going to say, what about PTSD for those who aren't soldiers? What about those who suffer from PTSD, which hasn't been diagnosed yet? Why shouldn't they be allowed to have cannabis? And I think a lot of people are going to recognize that. So I think he knows what he's doing with that talking point. But yeah, I don't blame him. It was a good speech. It said it really put the nail in the coffin of the Russian Empire. He's like, Ukraine stood up and showed what Russia is. We showed that Russia is weak. We showed that other nations don't have to care what Putin thinks. Let him huff, let him puff. We'll tackle his invasions when they happen. We will secure every neighbor of Russia their freedom if they want it. I think some of the, or I know some parts of the speech were directed, for once, directly at Putin, but also at his allies, his reluctant allies. He mentioned Belarus and said, "We will support the freedom from Russia for the Belarusian people," in so many words. He talked about Moldova and their Transnistria conflict, which is similar in kind to how the Donbass region arose. It's almost like a carbon copy of the same conflict. He mentioned Crimea. He's like, when will we stop? What's our when will we declare victory? He's like, I'm willing. It's up to everyone. We have to have consensus on this, was his point. We can't allow for the few to dictate the conditions of victory for the many. Everyone should be included in this. So what is our goal? When will we stop fighting? When will we say enough is enough? And we'll draw the new lines here. And he's like, not 1 inch of Ukraine am I willing to give up. We will take back Crimea. We will take back the Donbass region. We will secure every Ukrainian child, woman, and man. Everyone who has been removed from Ukrainian land shall be returned to Ukrainian hands. I'm like, damn, boy. In other words, I mean, that's a thinly veiled threat against Russia that says, because they're also heavily pointed towards international borders, recognized international borders. And he said, we won't step over the line here. We just want our people back, in so many words. Which is a very thinly veiled threat. When we have taken back all of Ukraine, when you have been repelled by us, we want our people back. We will not settle for less. Or I will not settle for less, he said. So if they don't bring back those people, I mean, will they take some land? Will they liberate some cities, perhaps? Maybe, which I don't find completely unreasonable, right? It's completely reasonable for Ukraine to say, hey, we're not done here yet. will keep on going. I love the speech. I'll talk. I'll make more of a I'll actually make a video on this because I need to ruminate. I need to analyze the speech more. I need to think on it. I need to prepare some talking points. Probably. I'm just going off my top the top of the dome here. It is a fantastic speech, and it not only inspired me because I was thinking, okay, assume I manage all this. I get the some Ukrainian family, perhaps, or a woman, children, to agree to an interview. Step one. Step two. I'll pull all my political capital that I've never spent because I don't care in the student union to say, can we work something out here? Can we help each other here? For the good of the Ukrainians, come on. And then I thought, okay, because this is how my ADHD works. I've always been a dreamer. I've always thought massively, and so the big idea, the goal of this, and I feel like in the spirit of Zelensky, who made some bold fucking claims of how he envisions a future victorious Ukraine, he made some bold claims there. So my bold idea was, we had the studio, we had a kind of an intimate setting. We talk one-on-one, maybe some backstory. What did they do before the Maidan Revolution? Or their the activities during the Maidan Revolutions, their activities or their life after, their vision for Ukraine. And then we move into the vision for Ukraine, and then what their plans are, stuff like that. And then I thought, how do I get more eyeballs on this? And maybe, because if we're live streaming this, it might get a bit emotional, If not from her directly, maybe from me, I don't know. Either way, I thought, what if she needs a break? Do we just put up a pause screen? Do the students have something prepared? And I'm like, who can I trust them to have the right opinions and not sneak some Russian propaganda in that I don't recognize, perhaps? Like, what can I trust? I have to have a system of trust here. I'm like, okay, I need to look at streamers, other streamers, people I know I trust. I need to talk to them and maybe like collaborate. I was thinking, okay, I'd love to have Vosh because I can trust him on messaging. I can trust him on opinions. I can trust him on entertainment value. All that. That would be like great. And maybe he has some guests and we can throw them if need be for a break. Just he can start talking and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? Why just Vosh? I mean, maybe. I mean, not. I if we get Vosh, but I mean, Dylan Burns, Loner Box. There's. So I'm like, okay, there's a few here that I can contact and see if they want to help me out with this after I've secured all the other things, And And then I went, ooh, what will happen at the end of it? What's the conclusion to this? Do I just do one off? Is just a one time thing? I don't know if that would be enough. Maybe because I know there's multiple families here. Okay, maybe we do a series. Maybe we have some people from outside of the local area who wants to come in and participate. Maybe someone outside of the country wants to participate. Do we do it live or online perhaps? Is that the same thing? Okay, so we have multiple episodes of this. A Free Ukraine we'll call the series, okay? And then what? What's the... Okay, all donations during this goes to helping Ukraine rebuild Ukraine. Okay, sure. Maybe we have sponsors who will give the families come there like a check, so they can have something for themselves. And then I thought, well, that's an interesting idea. What about a roast? In Kiev, the roast of Vladimir Putin. That would be fun. The roast of Vladimir Putin. And I'm like, that's such a fantastic idea that I know I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not the first one. I'm sure there's been prior to this war. But I know I'm not the first one during this war, probably, when things started turning around, who had the same idea. I'm like, that would be such a fun and probably cathartic experience for the world, but also for Ukrainians. I'm like, okay, so who do we invite here? Big international names. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It has to be in English. It needs to be international, this. But it also needs to be in Ukraine. So, maybe some interpreter with an earpiece people can borrow if they don't speak English. I don't know. But it needs to be in English. And it should be broadcasted on YouTube, on Twitch, whatever. Who do we invite? I started going over American comedians. And I'm like, I can't invite any of them. I have, like, even if, assume that I secure this, I secure a venue, I secure funding for it, and I secure everything it's go time with planning. Ukraine's victory is around the corner. Zelensky has started to talk about rebuilding the city. We're like, bam, let's book it. Who do I book? Who do I invite from America? I can't conceive of anyone, any active comedian that would be on the message, so to speak, that wouldn't try to roast Zelensky instead. Right? I can't think of a single one. Which is sad. Really sad. British? Eddie Izzard? Maybe. I don't know German comedian. Like, this is gonna help. Like, there needs to be It needs to be an international community effort, I think. And of course, naturally, we'll invite Vladimir Putin as well, you know? Of course. And his pal in Belarus and Orban in Hungary and you know, all the big names are going to be there, you know? This is just, that's where my mind went yesterday. And I think if I can get the interview started, and if I can get that going, and if I can get half the attention that I hope to get from it, I think it's possible. Actually, I think it's possible to create this type of event. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Not a question.
Shut up. We're not there yet. So I want to start with that. What else did I have? Should I start with Glenn Greenwald and Tucker Carlson? Should I start there? Oh, sure. Why not? Why not? We all know. Okay. Before we do that, everyone has seen this woman's face at this point. And obviously, she's a transphobe. Obviously, she also supports the Nazi Posey Parker or Kelly J. Keane, who we all know and love, of course. And thank you for standing for XX. Isn't that the Find Kelly Keane? That's also her. Are they available to purchase for yourself or the adult human female? Oh my god. But if you're thinking, wait, I recognize this icon and this name. What's going on here? What is happening? Well, you've probably seen this thread be passed around. I'm going to make a fucking artwork out of this fucking discovery. Oh my fucking god. I'm swearing, no holds fucking barred, you fucking weird, abusive, fucking weird, fucking dickhead wanker. Her boyfriend, of course of course. Oh, of course. No, is this mine? Okay, sorry. Her boyfriend apparently had all these panties they're in my hall now in a bundle and for burning, just waiting for the rain to stop. She found them in her boyfriend's bag. His backpack, his rucksack. Let's see if we can't find. I went to media, didn't I? No, I didn't. What is this? Today we'll most wearing. It's okay. Also, I have a nice umbrella, but it's a whole. Okay. Here. Oh my fucking god. As if I wasn't really upset and pissed off before. Just found another pair of knickers in his rucksack. I'm crying. Look at all these. Transphobes. Always ruining their relationships, don't they? Every single time. I just wanted to laugh at the misery of these people for a moment, okay? Forgive me for doing that. we're gonna, whoops, and whoops, and of course, whoops. Glenn Greenwald, everyone's favorite journalist, right? Everyone loves Glenn Greenwald. He's been doing great lately, you know. He hasn't at all become authoritarian on the right-wing conservative. No. He just happens to think Trump did nothing wrong and Tucker is a great person, and I don't know what's going on here. It's a bit uncomfortable. It was okay. So I just spoke about Zelensky's speech where he upholds international democratic values. He points out the future of Ukraine needs to be not only secure, but free and prosperous for the people. The reason that Zelensky just canceled election, that he just canceled the elections, is because he's following the law. In the Constitution, which after Ukraine has been victorious against Russia, I'm certain they will overturn it. You know, they will write a completely new constitution. They will overhaul their entire system. That's pretty much what he said in his speech. So that's in the Constitution. He has to suspend elections during martial law, you know? And if you're invaded, if your country is invaded, you're gonna have martial law. It's bound to happen, people. So it's a bit uncomfortable that Zelensky just canceled all elections indefinitely, until the war is over. Given Biden's war is to protect democracy. Yeah. And in a democracy, there are procedures sometimes where you need to suspend elections. What is Greenwald's prescription here? He wants Zelensky to break the Constitution. He wants him to stop following his own laws and rules. As if that's not gonna make him authoritarian? What's if he breaks this rule, what's stopping him from breaking another rule? Mm-hmm. Like, I think he could probably propose to Congress a change in the Constitution. I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know how quickly that's able to be overturned. I know in Sweden, our foundational laws, as we call them, needs two different parliaments. Like, there has to be an election, and they have to vote the same way in both. They have to agree for the changes. Both both parliaments need to agree on the changes, so that the people have time to react to the change. So if the opposition says, hey, they want to change your freedoms, they can do that. They can show that, hey, they've already voted yes on this once. If they get power next time, it's over for democracy, you know, stuff like that. Maybe, and I can see that being a good thing. So maybe Ukraine has the same thing. They can't just change the constitution willy-nilly, so he has to suspend election. It's an L for Ukraine, not an L for Zelensky. Moving on. But watch how both parties, Karine Jean-Pierre, Pelosi, Michelle McCall, Dick Durbin, MSNBC host John Cornyn, read from the exact same script. Okay, let's give this Tucker video a viewing, shall we?
It's Tucker Carlson.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we know it's Tucker Carlson. That's why we're here.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You may have found yourself...
He's such a TV broadcaster where, like, they say this because you haven't chosen to watch him. You've chosen to watch Fox. But on Twitter or on social media, on the internet, you've chosen to watch him. So why is he presenting himself like that? Hey, it's me, Tucker Carlson. Hello.
Wondering recently.
It's very low, isn't it?
The world slides
What the?
closer to nuclear annihilation.
There we go. I need to lower this.
Time in human history. Why exactly are we at war with Russia? It seems like there's a pretty significant downside to this particular...
You're not. You're supporting your allies, like happened before the US joined World War II, you know? You supported the UK. Okay.
Particular foreign policy decisions, starting with economic collapse and ending potentially with extinction. So is there a good reason we're doing it? So many innocent young people have been killed. So many hundreds of billions of dollars have been...
But hold on. I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to come here. And I can do so and so.
wasted, some of them from the U.S. Treasury. So what's the point? Are we really doing this so the Biden family can repay its debts to the oligarchs who finance their beach house in Rehoboth? Are we doing it so our government can continue to lie about its illicit biolabs in Eastern Europe? So that flabby losers like Toria Nuland and Tony Blinken can feel like they're doing something important with their sad, empty lives? Really? Honestly, there's got to be a better reason for waging this, the most pointless war of all. What is it? Well, thankfully, we have an answer. The war...
Thankfully. This is all about Nuland. Of course. Let's go back, what is it, 7? No, it's more. It's 9 years. It's coming up on a decade. And they still think it's about Nuland? Really? They have nothing. They're retreading old news. They're retreading old conspiracies. And they are these people. Hitler has not attacked us. Why attack Hitler? Why not peace with Hitler? Europe for Europeans, Africa for America for Americans. Where have we heard these words before? I wonder.
Against Russia, ladies and gentlemen, the war against Putin and for Ukraine is in fact a war for democracy.
Yeah.
Watch and recall the motive.
Yeah.
The President has said many times we're focused on what we can do to support Ukraine's effort to fight for their democracy.
Democracy must prevail. The Ukrainian people are fighting the fight for their democracy, and in doing so, for ours as well.
Assisting and helping Ukraine win this fight for democracy and freedom.
And of course, Ukrainian President Zelensky understands that what's at stake in Ukraine is bigger than just his nation. It is literally a battle for freedom and democracy themselves.
They are showing the world what an existential fight for democracy looks like.
President Zelensky and the Ukrainians have changed the course of history for the better, and we unequivocally are with the Ukrainian people in their fight to remain a sovereign democracy.
Unequivocally with the Ukrainian people to remain a democracy. It's a bipartisan view. Democracy must prevail. You just heard noted democracy expert Nancy Pelosi say, the daughter of the mobbed-up mayor of Baltimore. As Pelosi puts
Okay. You support Trump. Let's disregard what he himself has done. We know it's documented. His father is the biggest mob connected person in all of New York almost. Sure, apart from like mobs themselves. Trump father. What's his name? Fred Trump. Mob connections. Come on. I can't trust that. That's a weird website. Donald Trump's mafia connections. Donald Trump left. Owner of the now defunct USFL's New Jersey Generals said his league's $1.32 billion antitrust suit against the NFL will crack one of the great monopolies in his country. At right attorney Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn. Why is that familiar? Is that because he's he represented and Rupert Murdoch. Cohn had represented mobsters in the past, like Carmine Galante and Anthony Salerno. Salerno and Paul Castellano at the time controlled the concrete unions in Manhattan, and when Donald Trump needed concrete, he received it from union leader John Cody, who was linked to mob boss Castellano. I mean, so I'm sorry. Are we talking mob connections here? Strange. What about this? Come on, thank you. The Trumps an incestuous intertwined with organized crime. Let's go. Fred. The lists of the Trump families, both Fred Trump, who left his son $200 million, and the legacy of lying about his wealth and businesses, and Donald's ties to organized crime or mob nobbing, as Wayne Barrett aptly named his book Trump, The Deals and the Downfalls. Read, Like he's mob connected, okay? So don't come here with your virtue signaling, okay?
That the Ukrainian people are fighting the fight for their democracy and for ours as well. That's right, for ours as well.
Yeah,
Without Ukrainian democracy, in other words, we can have no democracy here.
No. By fighting for our democracy as well, they mean without security in Europe, we have no allies. Without democratic allies. Without democratic allies, our chances of surviving as a democracy is significantly limited. That is what they mean.
Here, if the Ukrainians aren't free, neither are we. We must make sure they can vote in Kiev so we can continue to vote.
I'd go even further. Nobody is free until everyone is free. Nobody deserves democracy and freedom more than anyone else. Everyone deserves it. And we need to fight and secure democracy for everyone before we can rest on our laurels, okay?
Kansas City. It's really that simple. And yet tonight, we regret to tell you that we have a problem.
Nope.
It looks like they're not going to be able to vote in Kiev anymore.
Oh, damn.
And no, for once, it's not Putin's fault. Democracy.
It's not Putin's fault. It's not Putin's fault that he invaded. That, like, listen to the word. Listen to him. It's not Putin's fault.
Ukraine seems to be suspended by the world's foremost democracy advocate himself, Field Marshal Zelensky. Watch this.
Чи будуть в Україні наступного року вибори?
Це ж питання глобальне. І якщо ми переможемо, то будуть. Значить, не буде військового часу, не буде війни. А вибори повинні
Wait. I missed that. You can't. I hate you can't search back and forth with arrow keys on Twitter. If we win, there will be. Let's see here. Will there be elections in Ukraine next year? It's a global question. If we win, there will be. So there will be no wartime martial law, no war. Elections should be held in peacetime when there is no war, according to the law. According to the law. So yeah, Putin is to blame.
So when you have an election, well, he says if we win, we'll let people vote. Otherwise, no. You vote when we feel like it, because ultimately we're completely in charge and make all the rules. Your job is to obey or be punished. That's our version of self-government. Self means me. I'm the government. Now, that's not just any autocrat. That's our chief ally in the war for democracy. This is the guy who just announced he's likely to cancel next year's elections.
If they're at war still. If Russia withdraws, there will be elections. The moment Russia withdraws, the moment Russia admits failure, they will have elections. But I also want to point you, dear viewer, to suspension of the rules in the United States Congress. That's not what I wanted, I think. Maybe it is. No, I know there's a... The US has never delayed a presidential election. Here's why it's so tricky. Essentially, it's possible within the current US or within the US legal system and constitution to suspend elections. Congress just has to agree to it. This is not unique to Ukraine. This is common amongst a lot of democracies to have some way of delaying elections if need be. Just as there are ways of having elections when they are earlier than calculated, or when it should have been. It's part of democracy, and I don't know. I'm just repeating myself. It feels, but Tucker isn't really saying much, is he?
So you've got to wonder what the Biden administration thinks of this. We can't possibly continue to support Zelensky, that guy, after he said that, can we? Because in a clip less than 30 seconds long, he just blew up our entire rationale for supporting his side in the war. So we can't support him. Oh, of course we can. And we will. Here's Joe Biden from yesterday reaffirming America's unequivocal support for Ukraine.
No matter what happened in Russia, we, the United States, will continue to support Ukraine's defense and its sovereignty and its territorial integrity.
So to recap, we are currently fighting a war for democracy on behalf of a leader who just casually announced he's happy to end democracy, and our democracy supporting leaders have no problem with that. In fact, they're strongly for it.
Sure. That's one of my favorite gifts. No, I can't. Okay. Here. Here. Sure. Let's just say that. Of course. Yeah. That's a fair That's not a pious way of summarizing Zelensky's position. No.
Shocked? You shouldn't be. Of course they're for it. You should have seen this coming. Wars for democracy always cancel democracy.
This isn't a on the U.S. part, on Ukrainians' part, on Europe's part. This isn't an offensive war. I wouldn't even call this war necessarily on their part. I call it self-defense. Like, yeah, it's a defensive war. They are looking for self-determination away from Russia. And we are supporting that. Okay? Okay, buddy? Okay? Can you Tucker? I know Tucker is just sucking at the teat of Russian propaganda. That's why he invites Jimmy Dore on. That's why he had Jackson Hinkle on. Like, there's the number of steps between Tucker and Putin at most. If I'm being generous, it's 4. Isn't that how it works? No, it's 3. It must be. So we have Hinkle. We have Hinkle's girlfriend. And then Putin. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Speculatively, I'd say there's 1 degree of separation. They have, no, it's, okay, 2 degrees. They have, if not direct communications, not so likely, they have indirect communications. There is a middleman who talks to Tucker. There, for sure.
In the process, that's why our leaders love them. And they all do it, even the virtuous leaders. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. The British government under Winston Churchill threw an entire opposition party into prison and let them rot for the duration, in some cases with their families. So in a war for democracy, you can do anything.
Let's see here. Churchill, opposition, jail. Jailed opposition party. Let's see here, opposition. Not the leader of the opposition, that's not it. Really? Jail, prison. I can't find, I'm sure that he did. Did I miss?
For the duration, in some cases with their families. So in a war for democracy, you can do.
He's so dishonest.
The British government under Winston Churchill threw an entire opposition party in.
Jailed the opposition. I'm trying to find anything on this. Like, he was a douche. Don't misremember things, okay? Churchill was a douche. He was a flawed man. But god damn it, was he a great leader, okay? But I can't find him throwing anyone in jail for opposing. UK through. Isn't that how you? threw opposition party in jail. World War II. Outlawing the opposition. Here we go. Come on. Hitler. If it happened, I can't find it.
Into prison and let them rot for the duration, in some cases with their families. So in a war for democracy, you can do anything. Imagine what a man might do.
What was that? What was that?
You can do anything.
What is this?
For democracy, you can do anything.
Like he's so proud of himself for that. In the fight for democracy, you can do anything. I'm seeing it. It's like a child. He's like a child.
Imagine what a man might do who has fewer principles. If that man, say, ran Ukraine, he might seize churches, arrest
Fewer principles.
priests, ban all criticism of himself, disappear his political...
Ban all criticism? Sure, buddy. Sure. That's what he did. He didn't ban pro-Russian media and pro-Russian parties and a pro-Russian church that was harboring pro-Russian sentiment, wanting Russia to just ravish the entire country. No. It wasn't. He didn't go in and say, you know what, Russian or Orthodox Church, you're disbanded. No. It was just a random church, okay? It wasn't a Russian church. It was a random church. Sure. And if say, I don't know, the US were invaded by, let's say, Japan, they wouldn't do anything to Japanese people, you know? Wait, oh, that's right, internment camps. Which, by the way, is worse than anything Zelensky has done. Anything. All Zelensky has done is remove organizations and people who actively support Russia in their war effort against him and his fellow countrymen. Yeah, he's gonna put him in jail. I'm sorry. Oh no, not how will democracy survive without Russians undermining democracy? They're allowed to do it everywhere else. I've talked about it before. They have been undermining democracy in Europe for decades by now. Decades. They have influenced and they have supported financially Russian-friendly neo-Nazi groups and far-right politics, political parties. He has, like it's amazing how much propaganda Tucker can spew in such a short time. It's amazing. And I can understand why Russians watch him. Like, okay, why did you do that? Okay, just look at this. In an election in Sonneberg, an AFD candidate, which is alternative for Germany, it's an alt-right party, also known as a neo-Nazi party, but they're not openly using the Nazi iconography or parroting, I should say, neo-Nazi or Nazi talking points. They are a bit more coy about it, you know? But here he is, this dude, handing out AFD balloons to children at his child's kindergarten to celebrate. They are using children to be their propaganda machine, okay? When every accusation is an admission. Every accusation is an admission. There was something else, though, I actually wanted to show you. What was it that Tucker was saying?
Political opponents. In a war for democracy.
Oh, right. Right. Where is it? Come on. It is here somewhere. Somewhere. Come on. This is not fun anymore. Here we go. Someone posted this, which I found to be a good explanatory. So we have here, liberalism is an obstacle to a better world, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. Join the real fight against fascism to get out of the way. Death to fascism and liberalism that enables it. A bit cringe messaging, I'll give you that. I'd rather have liberalism than fascism. They are not the same. Yes, they do enable it. But we can't oppose it at the moment, because if we do, all we get is fascism. Either way, anyway. This is one of the most fascist things ever, which, yeah, and you and irony must be besties. However, this image is fantastic. The paradox of tolerance disappears if you look at tolerance not as a moral standard, but as a social contract. If someone does not abide by the terms of the contract, then they are not covered by it. In other words, the intolerant are not following the rules of the social contract of mutual tolerance. Since they have broken the terms of the contract, they are no longer covered by the contract, and their intolerance should not be tolerated. I think that's fantastic. And the same goes during wartime. During wartime, enemy organizations inside your country will no longer be tolerated. Okay? Unless they flip, I guess.
In some cases with their families. So in a war for democracy, you can do anything. Imagine what a man might do who has fewer principles. If that man, say, ran Ukraine, he might seize churches, arrest priests, ban all criticism of himself, disappear his political opponents. And that's happening.
No.
Just last month, Zelensky threw a man called Gonzalo Lira into prison indefinitely for the crime of daring to write about the Ukrainian government in unflattering ways.
Coached red pill. Gonzalo Lira. This is from May 5th. Red pill dating coach Gonzalo Lira, accused of shilling for Putin, is arrested in Ukraine. It's not for criticizing Zelensky. It's for praising Putin during an active war against Ukraine. Yeah, don't go to Ukraine if you're gonna praise Putin. How hard can that be, really? Let's see here. Let's just go. Lira is a blogger who made a transition from offering sleazy dating coach advice to men as Coach Red Pill to providing propaganda fodder for the Russian state media that eagerly picked up and disseminated. Let's see here. Just saw this guy on Russian state TV. He's sitting somewhere in Kiev, bashing Ukraine and the US while simultaneously praising Russia. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read that. Not that I can. I mean, I can. I just don't feel like it. His multiple dispatches from Ukraine. In his videos, Lira insulted the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, and described Ukrainians defending their land from Russian invaders as armed criminals. Ukrainian authorities alleged that Lira filmed Ukrainian soldiers making a specific effort to capture the likeness and attempting to discredit their military service. Actively discrediting and undermining defensive actions during an invasion, yeah, you're gonna go to jail for that. Yeah, without a doubt. Of course. Any sane society would do the same.
Now, what's interesting, what separates this from other such cases, is that Lira is an American citizen. So Joe Biden, who is quite a bit of
and therefore, nope, can't think of anything. I mean, again, Tucker is the one supporting Trump, who killed an American citizen extrajudiciously. There was no trial. It was just a little kid. This is a grown man tempting fate. And he wants Biden to...
SWAT, as they say in Ukraine, could have freed Gonzalo Lira within hours. But he didn't. He didn't want to. He didn't say a word about it. He remains in prison tonight. So
he couldn't.
That makes you wonder, what's the real motive here? When normal people see war, they see death and destruction, sadness and suffering.
Yeah.
But that's not what demagogues see. They understand it differently. They know that war means power, mostly for them. During wartime, everything they do can be justified. War is the gravest of all emergencies. Imagine the COVID lockdowns times 1,000 plus drones. Once war breaks out, politicians become gods with the power of life and death. So in a peaceful democracy, you have to debate your political opponents in public, and that's tiresome. But in a war for democracy, you can just throw them in jail or have them executed.
Do I need to say anything? Do I need to point out how wrong he is? During an invasion, debating political opponents before defeating the enemy is pointless. It has no bearing on the outcome of the war. If anything, it's a distraction from the war.
You can see that many in Washington are looking forward to that moment. And that may be why they so fervently support Joe Biden, even many Republicans, against a potential opponent, the only opponent who opposes the war in Ukraine. If you were to end the war, their power would evaporate.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, a whistleblower produced WhatsApp messages from Hunter Biden proving that at the...
No. Whistleblower Hunter Biden WhatsApp. Hunter Biden's alleged WhatsApp message, not messages, fuels GOP assertions of corruption even after plea. His plea deal with Trump appointed prosecutor had animated GOP claims. And what's the mess? As part of their rollout on Thursday, on an as part of their rollout on Thursday of allegations that senior Justice Department officials stymied the probe into Hunter Biden's taxes. Congressional Republicans have seized a July 2017 WhatsApp message in which the younger Biden purportedly threatened a Chinese business associate by invoking his father's political connections. 2017. What was Biden doing in 2017? Biden political office. What was he doing? Joe Biden, President of the United States, served as Vice President from 2009 2017. Okay, when was this?
Department.
When was... Wait, didn't he serve to 2018, though? Like, I know the election... July. Okay, so he was in office, but he was on his way out, and he knew it. Biden purportedly threatened the Chinese businessman. I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the committee has not been fulfilled. Hunter Biden allegedly wrote, like, we haven't seen the text messages. This is just allegations at the moment. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. Like, and Zed...
It was inhumane. We're locked in the air.
And Zed, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this, other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. Assuming this is true, it is horrible for Hunter Biden. It is horrible in other ways for Joe Biden. But it doesn't implicate Joe Biden. It just means Hunter used his father's political position and nothing more.
At the very least, his father...
There's no proof that Biden did it. That Biden approved of it, even.
...knew about his influence peddling businesses abroad and probably participated in them. Quote...
Probably participated. Probably. They're always... Ooh, they're so careful right now. They can't afford another Dominion case.
I'm sitting here with my father, Hunter Biden wrote to his Chinese partners demanding money.
Kids sit with their fathers.
As much as anything reported about the Bidens over the last several years, this was the smoking gun.
For Hunter Biden's incompetence? Sure.
There it is, right there, in the message. That would have been enough to cripple a normal president. It would have been more than enough to keep a normal president from running for office again. But it had virtually no effect on Joe Biden. Most media outlets ignored it completely or tried to spin Biden's relationship.
Because there's no evidence. There's just one allegation. One person have alleged this.
Relationship with his son is some kind of moral victory. Quote, the real meaning of the Hunter Biden saga, as I see it, wrote Nick Kristof of the New York Times, isn't about presidential corruption, but is about how widespread addiction is, and about how a determined parent with unconditional love can sometimes reel a child back. He actually wrote that.
Yeah.
And if you doubt it, you should know that view was common. Here's the take from ABC.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
So a whistleblower produces a text message showing that Joe Biden...
No, we haven't seen the text message. Hunter Biden. Let's just make sure that I'm not... WhatsApp messages real? Question mark. Let's just do some. The Biden. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Hunter Biden probe. Media covers whistleblowers using scare quotes to undermine credibility of IRS officials. Shut up. Quotation marks are being used against IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley to delegitimize his claim. Is this him?
To talk about the Hunter Biden investigation, his internal rally. So for the Congress about the probe into the business dealings of the president's son. Gary, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Brett, for having me.
Let's just start at the beginning. Why are you doing this?